So we're going to continue in Tehilim Psalms. Tonight we're going to do 3 chapters, small chapters. Nun Bet, Nun Gimel, and Nun Dalet, 52, 53, and 54. Just a brief introduction about what you're about to hear. There is a great emphasis on Lashon Hara, on slanderous talk, derogatory talk. Regardless of whether it's true or not, makes no difference. One has to be very careful not to open up his mouth, to say something nasty, something negative about another individual, if there's no benefit whatsoever to bring this up. People are careless in this area. And if one does not study the laws, the halachot of Lashon Hara, he can easily make the mistake of saying something that is derogatory, something that is not nice. And it may not be true to begin with. People don't realize that this is not just something wrong. When one talks bad about another individual, and obviously the more so if he causes him harm as a result, he's opening up his books upstairs. We are used to hearing that our books are open on Rosh Hashanah, the Day of Judgment. They examine our deeds, that which we've done, which we've performed during the year, the good and the bad. Decisions are made on that day. What will the next year, the following year be like as a result of our actions? People don't realize that when they open their mouth in the middle of the year, they're causing their books to be opened in the middle of the year. Because the Satan, the accusing angel, basically says, he is talking, or she is talking about someone else. I have the right to talk about them as well. That is why it's so dangerous. Not only is it wrong, not only is it damaging, of course, to another individual to talk about them, but it's dangerous for the individual to say something about another. Imagine if he curses, or if he prays for the downfall of his neighbor. It's not so simple. You have to be very, very careful. Words are very powerful. They have tremendous weight. They can cause a lot of harm. And Lashon Hara causes tremendous harm. It brings about divisiveness, sinat chinam, baseless hatred, all kinds of trouble. Even in one's family, when the siblings talk about each other, they don't realize what this is causing. When one speaks Lashon Hara, he's demonstrating openly that he has no fear for God, because he's basically saying, no one will hear me. No one will hear what I just said. No one knows my intention of why I said that. But Hashem does know. And if one thinks like that, behaves like that, then he's basically denying the existence of Hashem. It shows that he has no fear, no yirat Hashem. So it's a big problem in our generation. It was a big problem in the past. And as I said, without learning the halachot, without knowing what is permissible and what is not, one can easily make a mistake. Again, even if it's true, it could be true what you know about someone. Who gives you the right to share that information with others? And that is, of course, the biggest sin of the news media. Who gave them the right to invade the privacy of people? I mean, if something is public knowledge, that's already bad enough that people know about it. It doesn't mean that you have to now propagate it, disseminate it even more. That's their job. That's what they feel they need to do. We are extra careful in this area. We are very, very sensitive to this Lashon Hara because we know exactly what kind of harm it does. And here we're going to be introduced in chapter 52 to part of this problem that came about during the time of David HaMelech. David HaMelech, as you know, in Tehilim, not only describes his experiences, he points out valuable lessons that we have to learn from it. He's not just telling us, hey, this is what I went through. I prayed to Hashem and he helped me out. It's not so simple. As you will see, the word maskil is being used several times in Tehilim. Lamnatseach maskil de David. For the conductor, he's putting together a composition that is a maskil, that is hopefully imparting a very valuable lesson for the sechel, for our mind to analyze and to absorb. Now what does he talk about here? The experience that he had with Doeg HaAdomi. David HaMelech had enemies. What's an enemy? Those who are jealous of him, those who would like to be in power instead of him. This always is a problem. Jealousy. Others want to assert power. They may be prepared to do almost anything, even murder. Yeah, people have all kinds of weaknesses. And here we're talking about leadership. We're talking about bigger problems. It was politics. So we have this individual called Doeg HaAdomi. Those who read Tehilim or study it and do not know Jewish history, they might say, well, who is this Doeg, the Edomite? He's Jewish. Not only is he Jewish, he's a Talmid Chacham. He's a scholarly individual. Very learned. And he's from the area of Edom. That's one opinion of why he's called Doeg HaAdomi. And he unfortunately caused a tremendous, tremendous disaster. He told Shaul, the king at the time, that Achimelech, the priest, right, the Kohen Gadol, helped David. What's wrong with that? Well, David was running away from Shaul. And anyone that would help David is committing an act of treason against the king. So to make a long story short, I mean, he gave him some food, he helped him out as he was running away, and this got to Shaul through Doeg HaAdomi, who happened to have been present at the time. As a result of that, Shaul was very, very upset. He was mad. And he said, all the Kohanim, this was Nov, the city of Kohanim, should be killed as a result of helping his enemy. The officers who were with Shaul did not want to lift a hand against the Kohanim, their own brothers. Doeg HaAdomi did it. He killed the inhabitants of that city. Tremendous tragedy. And you wonder, how could this be? How could this ever happen, something like that? He helped him out. And Doeg knows the truth. He was there. He didn't really know what he was doing, Achimelech. He basically felt that this David needed some help. He didn't know the whole story, the whole background of the problems, of the infighting between Shaul and David. So he did it bitmimut, naively. But Doeg speaks Lashon Hara. He slanders. He twists the story in a negative way, and this ultimately hurts who? It hurts David HaMelech, of course. It hurts the city of Nov, but it hurts Shaul too. Because had Shaul not heard it in the way he presented it, he wouldn't have acted upon it. So to act upon Lashon Hara, which is completely false, could you imagine the punishment that is coming to Shaul for listening to Doeg? The rabbis tell us it's not only the one who says Lashon Hara that is punished, that is committing a sin. HaMekabel Lashon Hara, or Chilut. One who accepts or believes what he's being told, the slanderous talk, he's also guilty. Don't accept it, don't believe it. Give the person the benefit of the doubt, assume it's not accurate. There's a lot of ways that one can neutralize the information he receives if it's negative information. Don't assume it's true. Otherwise, you are assisting to this Lashon Hara. If people would say, we don't believe it, it would stop there. The more people believe, the more it spreads. So this was a big tragedy in the annals of Jewish history. The incident in Nov, Ir HaKohanim, brought about by Doeg. Lashon Hara. How could this person who is so knowledgeable, so great, stoop to such a low level? Very hard to understand. We cannot second guess people. He's not here for us to ask him. But the rabbis tell us, of course, that this was not l'shem shamayim. He definitely did not do something here for the sake of heaven. This was evil at its height, the pyramid of evil. As we say in Yiddish, durch and durch. In other words, through and through. There's no questions about it. And that's important for us to know. What difference does it make if something is evil or it's not evil? Well, if it's completely evil, the question is, can you pray that such individuals who are completely evil should be eliminated? Because here we're saying that it's not a good idea to wish bad for others, even if they're antagonizing you. But if they're completely evil, maybe that's a little bit different, as we will see what this chapter talks about. David HaMelech analyzes the actions of Doeg Adomi and basically says, what did you do? בבוא דואג האדומי ויגד לשאול ויאמר לו בא דוד אל בית אחימלך. When Doeg the Edomite came and told Shaul, informed on David, saying to him that David was at the house of Achimelech. He continues on to say, מה תתהלל ברעה הגיבור? חסד אל כל היום. So I'm going to first translate. Why do you boast? מה תתהלל, why do you take pride with evil? There's nothing to be proud about, what you just did. Hagibor, you're the strong man. You're the mighty one. You think you wanted to show how powerful you are? When somebody's on the roof and you knock him down, or when somebody's close to a pit and you just throw him in, that's not gevurah. That's not might. Anybody can do that. You think you showed gevurah, might, by harming the king's enemy? You know what gevurah really is? The commentaries explain. When you help someone avoid falling in a trap. When you don't let him fall off the roof. When somebody's about to fall and you hold him. That's gevurah. That's might. So what are you proud about? The evil that you did? You mighty person? Chesed el kol hayom. Hashem's kindness is all day long. You think if Achimelech wouldn't have helped me, I wouldn't have gotten the same help from someone else? Thank God Hashem has been kind to me all along. You think you could have stopped that? What was your thinking? That you did something so ra, so evil. He continues on, Havot tachshov leshonecha, ketar melutash oser remiyah. He said, let me analyze your mind. Let me tell you what your thinking was. Your tongue, right, the talking, Havot tachshov, all day long, all it thinks of doing, of planning, of devising, is treachery. Havot. It was to cause other people to stumble. That's what you think about. That's what you're aiming for. You're not a good person at all. You're far from being good. Ketar melutash oser remiyah, like a sharpened razor, you do acts of deceit. Ketar melutash, yeah, because the tongue can be very, very sharp. That's the simple understanding. Ketar melutash also implies that what you did was completely deceitful, because sometimes one wants to cut something, just a few pieces, and in the end he cuts a lot more pieces. People exaggerate. People say more than they have to. So your ta'ar melutash was with remiyah. When you cut, when you said something, you said too much. You could have easily said, yeah, I saw him there, but nothing really happened. Why did you say something that never happened? Why did you exaggerate? Why did you fill in more details than necessary. And by the way, whoever told you that you have to give over information to Shaul, that you were there? Wouldn't it have been better had you completely ignored it? Look what you did. Because you're evil. Because that's all what you're thinking about. So he's explaining to us, describing to us individuals, like Doeg, and they exist, that all they think about is how to harm others. It could be through their lashon, through the tongue. It could be in other ways. So this is not enough. He goes on to say, Ahavta ra mitov, which is incredible. You love evil more than good. Sheker midaber tzedek sela, falsehood more than speaking righteousness.
What is sheker midaber tzedek?
In other words, you like ra more than tov, and you prefer sheker, falsehood, than saying tzedek, that which is righteous, that which is correct.
Mm-hmm.
Is there somebody like that who prefers ra over tov? Yes. Because here, think about it. Is he helping Shaul? No. He's causing Shaul to stumble. He's causing Shaul to be punished. So don't think that you were helping Shaul. I was helping him. He's Mored b'malchut. David is a rebel. He's the king and he's the rebel. No, 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 no. Had you really wanted to help Shaul, you wouldn't bring him to this situation where he commits a terrible sin. It only must be, it's indicative, ki ahavta ra. You like bad, you like evil. You don't care about the consequences to people. Imagine people are having a fight, a couple is having a fight, and instead of calming them down, you egg them on, as they say in English. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. You know, and you add more fuel to the fire. What for? Don't you realize that there is such a beautiful mitzvah to stop a fight, to break up a fight, to calm things down, to make peace? Why isn't that on your mind? No, it's a mitzvah here to inform. It's a mitzvah here to destroy a city. Is that where your focus is? It's so negative. It's so sad that that's where this mind is, in how to hurt people. Ahavta ra, because your focus is on evil. And we still have the question that we had earlier, but he was a learned person. Talmid Chacham, not a simple individual at all. It's hard to figure out people, but David HaMelech is reminding us human beings haven't changed since the very beginning. There's the evil inclination. There's not only desires and passions that we have. The mind works in incredible ways to justify and to rationalize where something may be mutara. And I'm sure he went through that too, of why it's permissible for him. Otherwise, he knows the halakha better than most of the sages of his time. So we can't blame him for ignorance. But he's being blinded, just like a bribe blinds people. So does all kinds of excuses and rationalizations of the mind. Perhaps he should have consulted with others. So there's a little bit of arrogance perhaps in someone like that, who thinks he knows better. You don't want to make such a terrible mistake, do you? If somebody would be a little humbler, he wouldn't make so many mistakes. He would be extra careful. He doesn't want to make a mistake. Ahavta kol divrei bala lashon mirma. You love all the words that devour, swallow. Lashon mirma, deceitful tongue. What does this have to do with anything? Divrei bala, to devour people? Yeah. You could have easily have said that between me and you, Shaul, Achimelech does not know anything about what's going on. He could have told Shaul, yes, this is what happened, and immediately neutralized any negative effect it may have had by saying, Achimelech who's simply doing something naively. He's innocent. And that's the truth. But ahavta kol divrei bala, you want to do something that will swallow, that will hurt other people. And that is why you chose leshon mirma. That is why you chose a deceitful tongue to deceive. Now these words are not only David HaMelech's words. I can assure you when one heads upstairs after 120, they will confront him too. Why did you do this? Why did you say that? You could have done it differently. You could have helped the individual instead of hurt him. What led you to say that, to do that? So these are questions or statements that are similar to what they're going to ask us. No excuse for it. And we will see a video. They show a video when he heads upstairs of his entire lifetime, frame by frame. And there's some very embarrassing ones. At this age, you could have done things a little bit differently. You would have avoided many problems. It's already too late to correct. Now, it's still time. If we know we may have hurt someone, to ask forgiveness from them. But hopefully we don't even have to come to that. We can avoid it to begin with when we realize how serious this is, Lashon Hara, to talk about others. Next, so what will happen to Doeg Hadomi? Gam el yitatzecha lanetzach yachtecha v'yisachecha me'ohel. Very powerful words here. Most people who may have read about Doeg Hadomi don't know whatever happened to him. It doesn't clearly say in the Tanakh. He died a young man. I think he was about 34. Chatzi yamav, the rabbis say. He barely made it to half a life. And this is what this pasuk says. Pasuk Zayin 7. Gam eli tatzecha. Hashem will shatter you. Very powerful words. Shatter you. Lanetzach. For eternity. Shatter you for eternity. He's one of the only individuals that the rabbis clearly state that en lo chelek l'olam haba, that he has no share to the world to come for what he did. So that is the prescription for the afterlife. Shattered from eternity. Yachtecha v'yisachacha me'ohel. You can take, by the way, a Tehilim if you want to follow. Yachtecha v'yisachacha means that he will remove you, or I guess pluck you out from the tent. Most people who read this pasuk and see the word tent, why is tent mentioned over here? We talk about the tent of Torah. There's a midrash that says that an angel came and made him forget all his learning. Not only that, he may have said things in halakha and in Torah, but as a result of what he did, his actions, none of his Torah was ever quoted by others. V'shereshcha me'eretz chaim sela. And you will be uprooted from the land of the living. So we have two areas of being uprooted. Olam haba, the world to come, and Eretz HaChaim. He died young. So this is a fate that we don't want to wish on anyone. But that's because of what he did. If you take into consideration what happened in the city of Nov, the harm that he caused David HaMelech, and who knows what other consequences came out as a result of his actions. Only Hashem knows. Everything is documented upstairs. So David HaMelech is revealing this to us so that we should know. Listen, this is what happened to him. A Talmid Chacham, a great sage, a scholar. So didn't the Torah that he learned protect him? What's the answer? The Torah can protect one if one learns Torah L'Shem Shamayim for the sake of heaven. Not if it's lip service. It has the power, the real power that Torah has, if it's done properly, if it's learned l'shem shamayim. How? Not only is the merit great, but when one learns Torah for the sake of heaven, you think he would be this kind of a person? He would look himself at the mirror and say, no, this is not right. But if it's not l'shem shamayim, it's not going to leave an impact. It's not going to have an impact on the individual. It won't do anything for him. So the Torah helps us in many ways. If it's l'shem shamayim, it didn't help him. Could he have done teshuvah? Possibly. It would have been difficult because of all the killings. But Hashem accepts the teshuvah of everyone. Then why didn't he? You want to guess that one too? He's so far removed from Hashem. So far removed. He sank so low that he doesn't even think that he has to do teshuvah. And sometimes when people don't have a zechut, they can die just like that from a heart attack or a stroke and not have the hour or two that they need to say to do teshuvah. You know, sometimes when a person has at least a week or two, he sees himself, becoming weaker and weaker by the day. He has a disease that's not going away. He should prepare himself. Write a will if you can. Some people don't have that opportunity, and it's a shame. They couldn't prepare themselves. He couldn't prepare himself. It may have happened to him suddenly, that he died. And what will come out of this, when people see and learn about the fate of Doeg Hadomi, Pasuk Chet, V'yir'u tzadikim. So the real righteous should see what happened to him, V'yirau ve'alav yischaku. The righteous will see this and they will be in awe. They will fear. And they will laugh at him. Laugh at him? We don't laugh at anyone. Laugh at the overconfidence over the individual. We don't make fun of the individual himself. We never do that. No one's perfect. We will laugh at overconfidence. We will laugh at arrogance. How could you be arrogant? You think you're going to live forever? You're not taking the money with you, so why be arrogant? In other words, people sometimes don't think. They think they're going to be around forever. So, the tzaddikim, the righteous, will have an opportunity, from this particular example, to see sheyesh din veyesh dayan. There is a judge. One is accountable for his deeds. They will be happy that this will come out in the open for people to learn from. Otherwise, they may be preaching to others, I don't believe this. You see, that guy's getting away with it. Oh, really? Look what happened to him. Next. הנה הגבר לא ישים אלוהים מעוזו ויפתח ברוב ראשו יעוז באהבתו. So David HaMelech gives additional examples of someone who's overconfident. In Pasuk Tet. Here's the man who did not make Hashem his stronghold, his ma'uzo. So what became his stronghold? On what did he rely? ויפתח ברוב עושרו יעוז באהבתו. Instead, he confides or relies, trusts in his great wealth. Ya'oz b'havato, he draws strength from havato, from the treachery, from the bad things that he's been doing to others. So he thinks that these things that are not proper are going to be to his benefit. Somehow he's going to actually make it in life. And as they say in Hebrew, no, Sof Ganav Litliya, the end of a thief is he's hanged. Crime doesn't pay her, as they say in English. He doesn't realize it in the beginning. He trusts himself. He trusts his tricks. Oh, it worked for him, for that guy. Yes, look at the history of all the big criminals. Look what happened to them at the end. They didn't get away with it for too long. So that's what happens when a person does not put his trust in Hashem. Instead, he puts his trust in his money. Now turning the attention on himself. Pasuk Yod. ואני כזית רענן בבית אלוהים, בטחתי בחסד אלוהים עולם ועד. I'm like a fresh olive tree. In the house of Hashem, I trust in Hashem's kindness forever and ever. Like an olive tree? What's so unique about an olive tree? For that, you need to know a little bit about trees. When you go outside during this time of the year, I'm sure you've seen a lot of trees that they've lost their leaves during the fall. The leaves fall, and new leaves come. Not all trees have that cycle. Those are called deciduous trees. There's another kind of tree that's called an evergreen tree. It's always green. The leaves are always there. They don't fall off. An olive tree is an evergreen tree. The leaves usually don't fall off unless it becomes very, very dry. So he compares himself like a zayit ra'anan, like a fresh olive tree in the house of Hashem. In other words, he's remained there. He hasn't been in any way hurt to the point that he's disappointed, that he's changing his ways. No, I'm still strong. I'm still dedicated to the house of Hashem. I will continue to learn, continue to pray, continue to trust in Him. Chesed Elokim, for Hashem's kindness is forever and ever. Here is an individual, David HaMelech, who pays attention to what happens in life, what has happened with him, what has happened with others, and he's seen many, many miracles. This is not just blind. I trust. I know it for a fact. As he tells us many times, he's seen it, he's experienced it. He still continues to pray. He doesn't know what will happen with him. He trusts in Hashem nonetheless. And he's trusting in Hashem's kindness. Why kindness? Yeah, because sometimes a person may not deserve a miracle. He may not deserve Hashem's protection or help. That's where kindness comes in. Kindness helps even those who don't deserve it. Yes. Sometimes like Hashem is kind even with sinners. He gives them a chance. He's patient. He's tolerant. Because one day maybe he'll do teshuvah. So that's the kindness of Hashem. And the last verse of this perek, Odeh le'olam ki asita v'kaveh shimcha ki tov neged chasidecha. I will thank you forever for what you have done. I will hope in your name, for you are good to your pious ones. I will thank you, yeah. This is an important concept that he's communicating to us here at the end of the perek, because this has to do with the next perek. To thank Hashem, to not take anything for granted, not to be ungrateful to Hashem, and to continue to hope in Him, that He will always be there for you. People sometimes think that, yeah, you have to say thank you once, and gamarno, that's it, you said thank you. No, you have to be thankful forever. Hashem's kindness is forever. You have to always be grateful. Remember the kindness that He did to you, that He did for you so many years ago. Some people make a meal, a seudat hodaya, on the anniversary of that incident, whatever it may be, where their life was spared. Every year. Odecha le'olam, therefore, I will thank you forever. Last week, I didn't mention to you the segula. Usually we covered the special powers that every chapter in Tehilim has. And the segula of chapter 51 was for teshuvah.
51?
Yeah, Nun Aleph. In other words, it's a good perek for one to say if he wants Hashem's assistance in mending his ways, in repenting. He's having a hard time, a challenging time. So 51 is a good perek. It's a segula, in other words, it's propitious for that. Chapter 52. Anybody want to guess what segula is 52? To help one with lashon hara. Yeah. So, but it's not just to say it. I think the segula for this perek is to actually write the whole perek on a piece of parchment and hang it. Yeah,
What's the segula?
to write the entire chapter, 52, on a piece of cloth, on a piece of parchment, and hang it, carry it with you.
Ah.
One who has a hard time with
Oh,
it,
I
yeah.
see.
Yeah. Okay, before we go on to chapter 53, also another small chapter, we must always remember that many of the characters that are spoken about were great people. And one of the reasons why David HaMelech mentions them, brings it down here in Tehilim, is just to remind us that even the great people, even those who are tzaddikim, can fall. And that is why when they see what happened to Doeg, they should learn from it. It can happen to them too. They may make a big mistake in life. Hopefully they will catch themselves and do teshuvah for it. However, in chapter 53, we have a character who's not such a righteous individual, and his name is Naval. Now, even though the perek itself, chapter 53, is not talking about the famous or infamous individual called Naval, it is insinuated. David HaMelech had an experience, a bad experience, that almost was a very tragic experience, with an individual called Naval. Naval Israeli. You heard of him? It's interesting that he had such a name. You know what Naval means? In Farsi, na shukr, ungrateful. Naval. He's a Naval. He's a kfui tova. But it's not just somebody ungrateful. He's somebody who's bad and ungrateful, both. See, some people are ungrateful. No, he's bad and ungrateful. And he's also chassis. He's also stingy. So imagine having all three. Bad. That's what he was. What happened, the story was like this. David HaMelech needed some help. So who does he turn to? He needs some food. He's on the road. He has a whole group of people. He turns to Naval. Why turn to Naval? Just because he has money? No. He wants help, Naval. His people help Naval. He had a lot of animals. So Naval received a lot of help from David's people. And here David HaMelech says, you know what, great, we're in the neighborhood, let's get some help from him, let's get some food, let's whatever we need. He owes us. And Naval heard about it and says, no way, why should I give him? Who is David? He reacted in a very, very not nice way. Didn't want to have anything to do with David.
He was drunk.
Huh?
He was drunk at the time.
Later on he got drunk. So David was very, very mad. Ungrateful, so stingy, so such an evil person, going to destroy his whole family, everything he has. That's what his plan was. Naval somehow was a very fortunate man in one way. He had a very special wife, an angel, Abigail, one of the few women prophets. Really tzedek, a very righteous woman. And she caught on to what was about to happen. And she rushed to David HaMelech with some food and drink and everything that they would need just to calm him down. And she spoke to David HaMelech at length why it's not a good idea for him to destroy the whole family. And she meant it for the good of David HaMelech. He's about to be king. This will be a big stain on your record. It's not right because of this one man's action, to do what you're thinking about. And he was thankful, very thankful to her that she really helped him. She spared him a terrible thing had he carried out his plans. Naval was drunk one night. And when he woke up, she told him what she did. She saved the day. But he had some sort of a mixed reaction. The first second he was scared about what could have happened to him. Perhaps the second moment he felt maybe bad that she helped him out. So he had some sort of a heart attack and he died. After that, David HaMelech married Abigail, from whom a very, very special child was born that most people don't know about. His name was Kilav. Also, very big tzaddik. You don't hear too much about him because he's not so famous, but he was a very, very special child. So even though the Perek is not talking about that Naval necessarily, it's talking about a Naval, an ungrateful person, it's very much insinuated because of the experience that he had with Naval. So Lam Naseach al Mahlat Maskil David. So this is for the conductor. Some say Mahlat is some sort of musical instrument. And this is also Maskil David. This is something for us to learn from. A valuable lesson. Amar Naval belibo en Elohim ishchitu v'it'ivu avel en oseh tov. What does the fool say? Naval meaning the fool, the wicked, ungrateful person. There's various ways to, I guess, to translate Naval. It basically means someone who's not good and is ungrateful. What does he think to himself? In order for him to be the way he is, it's because to him in his heart, en Elohim, he basically is convincing himself there's no God. Therefore, ishchitu v'it'ivu avel en oseh tov. Therefore, they act corruptly, committed all kinds of abominable deeds. Not one does good. So here you have an individual who doesn't do good at all. Not even sometimes. Completely ungrateful. Is not interested in doing any good for anyone. Now, what's interesting about this perek, if you want to have a little bit of an understanding of what's going on here, just look back to chapter 14. It's very, very similar. Almost word for word, with a few differences. So the commentaries explain that the focus on 14 was towards the leaders, the evil leaders of the First Temple era, and this is more geared towards the evil leaders of the Second Temple era. In other words, Titus in this case, by Sheni. And the reason why it's mentioned here between 54 and 52, because we're talking about evildoers. That's why it mentions this one over here too. And what do they have in common, all those evildoers? That they want to destroy the Jewish people. And in the end, what will happen is that Hashem will take revenge from them. In other words, they will get retribution for all the deeds, the bad deeds that they did. So why does David HaMelech tell us that this Naval believes that there's no God? That's perhaps one way of concealing his real motives. That he's a bad person. Nobody wants to admit, yes, I'm bad. There's no God. Whoever says that there's such a thing as reward and punishment, that we're accountable for our deeds, we have to be nice. Where does it say that? In the Torah? Well, maybe some people made up the Torah. There was some committee like someone claimed. So that's the way of him justifying his behavior. Look, in Israel they say sometimes, Kol echad v'haemet shelo, everyone with his truth, with his religion, with his beliefs. Who's to say that your beliefs are better or more correct than mine? And if you don't believe in the Torah, then how are you going to convince someone this is more morally right? What's moral? Who made up morality? According to the Nazis, the Jews made up morality. There is no such thing, he says, Hitler. He says, we're proud to be barbaric. Those are his words. Can you argue with someone like that? So that's the type of individual we're talking about, someone who is not interested in helping others. Elohim mishamayim yishkif al bnei adam lirot hayesh maskil doreshet Elohim. Verse 3, very, very powerful words. Hashem looks down from Shamayim from time to time. Looks at mankind. Is there anyone searching for the truth? Is there anyone looking for him? Doreshet Elohim. Unfortunately, not. On the contrary, what he's seeing is kulos sag yachdav nelach ve'en oseh tov en gam echad. If anything, he's seeing that people, human beings, mankind is regressing. Sag, nasog achor. They're regressing, they're deteriorating. and this is especially true in the end of days, in our generation. Ne'lahu. They have regressed and they have become more degenerate, more corrupt. En oseh tov, en gam echad. People are not really involved in doing good, being kind to others. People are more selfish. This is a description very much of the end of days. There will be a lot of sheker and chutzpah, a lot of falsehood. And because of that, the focus will not be on being kind and doing good to others. No. It's regression from believing in God, from being devout, from doing that which is righteous. The evil those, the evil people, they know. Those that devour, that eat my nation, those that persecuted the Jewish people, as though they were bread. Elohim lo karau. They don't call upon God. I see this verse meaning two things. I think the commentaries basically say the same thing. The nations that persecuted the Jews, those who are evil, how could they go about hurting the Jewish people? Based on what? They've always blamed us for everything. We're the communists, we're the capitalists, we're this, we're that. David HaMelech is telling us part of the reason of why this has happened to us is not because the Goyim are right. It's because Elohim lo karau. You didn't call out to Hashem. In other words, it's not because of what they claim. They're totally wrong. It's because of us. It's our fault. Another way of looking at this verse is that the reason why they can do this, murdered so many innocent men and women and children, is because Elohim lo karau. They may call themselves religious, whatever religion they have, but they don't really believe in God. They don't really turn to God. How could someone who's really close to God kill others in the name of God? As I've said before, those who kill God's children, any of his children, any of these, they cannot really love Hashem. Someone who loves Hashem loves those that he created. Unless we're talking about an evil person. You claim to love Hashem, then why are you hurting his kids? You don't really love Hashem. So you have a lot of individuals that don't believe in being accountable, and that's what he calls Elohim lo karau. Apparently they have no connection to God. Sham pachadu pachad lo haya, but one day they will experience a fear that they've never had before. Pachad lo haya pachad, ki Elohim pizar atzmot chonach ibishota ki Elohim ya'asam. They will be seized with a fright that they never had before. For God scatters the bones of those that are encamped around you or against you. You shamed them, for God rejected them. That's the translation of the verse. So what is he talking about over here? There have been various cases in the past where this has already come true. When the enemy was defeated, even though they were going to win. It looks like they were going to win. The most famous one being Sanherib, who assembled hundreds of thousands of soldiers. First Temple era. Chizkiyahu was the king. The next morning, they're all dead. Just like that. The next morning, just like that. Without even one bullet being fired. Not one shot. That's what it means. Bizar atzmot chonach. He scattered the bones of those that came, those who laid the siege or those that encamped against you. And this will be with Gog. As the Navi describes, the prophet describes, when Gog will come, what will happen to his soldiers, to the bones, in other words, to the corpses that will lay in the fields. But the last words are interesting. Hevishota ki Elohim me'asam. You've shamed them. Who is he talking about? He could be talking about the enemy shaming us. You shamed them, but in reality, Elohim me'asam. It was Hashem that was upset with us. that was not happy with us. Or it could be saying that David is talking about the future, when the nekama, when the revenge will be taken upon them, they will be put to shame. They will see the truth, that Hashem rejected them and not rejected us. Because many of them have claimed, you see, you're in exile, God rejected you. And you deserve it. No. Evishota. In the end, you will be put to shame. You will be shown the truth. That is not the truth, what you thought, that we were abandoned. It was Elokim Me'asam. According to that interpretation, that Hashem just was unhappy with us, therefore removed us from the land and sent us to exile. The last verse in this chapter, beautiful, beautiful verse that is mentioned before in chapter 14 as well. In other words, miyiten, as we say in Arabic, insha'Allah. That's what miyiten means in Hebrew. It was ochala in Spanish. Alevai, I wish it should happen soon, that from Tzion we will see the Yeshuot, we will see the deliverance, the salvation coming to Israel. Beshuv Elohim shevut amo, when Hashem returns the captivity, those who are in exile, of those who are in exile, meaning our people. Yagel Yaakov, that will be a time when Yaakov will rejoice. Yismach Israel, when Israel will rejoice. Yaakov and Israel, those who are low, are called Yaakov, the simple. And Israel, those who are on a higher level. Everybody will rejoice. It could also be talking about all the tribes, maybe. It's not just repeating the word Yaakov Israel. He's implying the entire Jewish people will rejoice when that will happen. So here it says Yeshuot, and in chapter 14 it said Yeshuat. The commentators explain, in reality the salvation of Hashem is one. But that one salvation, when the time begins, when it comes, it brings about many, many salvations, many, many miracles, one after another, which we've been seeing all along from the beginning of the 20th century, at least from what we know. There's been more than one miracle, more than one Yeshua. And that is exactly what will be very, very soon when Mashiach comes. Right. Chapter 54. By the way, what's the Segula for 53? If you want to instill fear in some enemy that's giving you a hard time, 53 is good for that. Your bones will be scattered. Obviously, you need to believe in it. You have to say it with the proper kavanah and focus. And you have to be completely righteous. Otherwise, who's to say you're better than him? But that's what this perek is good for. In those kind of situations when we are suffering and at the mercy of the enemy. 54. Lamnaseh bin ginot maskil David. This is also for the conductor. Bin ginot, using instrumental music. Also an important lesson in maskil for David that he wants to impart on us. Bevo hazifim. He's talking now about a group of Jews from the Shevet Yehuda who lived in the area called Zif. When the Zifim came, Vayimru leShaul, again we're going back to Shaul. Hello, David, Mr. Terimanosh, David is with us. You can find him by us. He doesn't even know it, that we're with you, we're on your side. So he thinks he's safe, but he's not safe. So now David HaMelech is giving thanks for that. They tried so much to get him. If you know the story, how Shaul pursued him. His own son went after him. He had a difficult life. So here again, they're saying Lashon Hara, telling Shaul that David is with them. To inform on him. Rabbis tell us, look at all the Lashon Hara that was around during the time of David HaMelech. That explains why many times when he went to battle, they lost. During the time of Achav, who was not a very righteous individual, they were of the Avodah Zarah, they worshipped idols. They went out to war and they won. How could it be? Because at the time of Achav, there were no informers. Many of the prophets were killed. They killed the prophets, the real prophets. Ovadia, remember, hid several hundred prophets. And the people knew about it. And nobody said, he's hiding them in a cave. They could have. There were no informers then. They understood it. It's not right to say. They won the battles. David HaMelech. They don't worship idols. They're righteous. They're learned. But they had Lashon Hara. Sinat Chinam. Baseless hatred. Because of all the informants, because of all the informers, that is why they had trouble at battle. Elohim b'shimcha osheinu b'gvurotcha dedineni. So he asks Hashem, deliver me by your name and vindicate me by your might. So b'shimcha, that's mercy. Gvurotcha, that's justice. So he's asking for Hashem's mercy to help him. He may not have enough merits. Ubigvurotcha tedineni, but vindicate me, and it was punish the Reshaim, the evildoers, through givurah. With them you should be strict. With them you should be dan din. You should judge them. Don't have any pity on them. That's why he's using the words b'shimcha and b'gvuratcha, two different attributes of Hashem. Elohim, shema tefilati hazina limrefi. Hear my prayer, listen to the words of my mouth. Why mention that now? You've said it already many times before. Anytime a person is subjected to human beings, not to animals, wild animals, he needs a lot of help from Shamayim, from heaven. Because human beings have free will. They can hurt you. And unless you have some merit that will protect you, which will jam the trigger of the guy's gun, it may not happen. You don't want to therefore take a chance when you are assaulted by a human being. For him to change his mind, it's more of an open miracle. If for an open miracle to be performed on our behalf, we need merits. So therefore David HaMelech, because he's exposed to so much of that, he needs to continuously pray. Listen to my prayer. Ha'azin alim refi. Pay close attention to what I'm saying. Why say pay close attention to what I'm saying? Because even if I'm not right, let me tell you how wrong they are. So there's two things here. Listen to my prayer, but even if I'm not so special, not so righteous, let me tell you how bad they are. Let me tell you, I have complaints about them, what they have done. Strangers have risen against me. Not only Shaul and his family, people that have nothing to do with it. None of their business. And they're getting involved too. And the ruthless people, ruthless men have sought my soul. They have no pity. But my favorite is the last words here. They're not mindful of God, not mindful of Him. How could you do what you're doing and not realize that Hashem sees everything we do, hears everything we say, and everything is recorded? Rabbis remind us in Pirkei Avot, remember that. Kol ma'asecha b'sefer nichtavim, all your deeds are being recorded. Everything you say is heard. I mean, if human beings can use technology to create satellites that can see from such a distance, you don't think Hashem has a bigger and more powerful satellite where He sees and hears and records? I mean, we made something like that from a distance can see. Hashem doesn't. Yes, that's what some people think. Lo samu elokim linigdam. They don't think about that. They don't think, and that's why they commit all kinds of sins. Hine Elohim ozer li Adonai b'sumchei nafshi. Hashem is my helper. Hashem has been with those who support me as well. And this is talking about the past as well. I've seen it happen, and Hashem was always with me. And He's been with those who are on my side, who supported me, not with my enemies. He's giving us a lot of encouragement here, you see. I have seen it myself. I have seen my prayers being answered. Well, what about the second part? The part about the enemy's eventual downfall. That too, he says. Yashiv hara leshorerai b'mitecha atzmitem. I've seen that too. He lived for 70 years. You can see a lot in 70 years. He says, I have seen that Hashem repays the evildoers, those who have been shorerai. What's shorerai? They've been looking forward to watching, wanting me to fall, wishing me bad. I've seen Hashem repay their evil. But mitechatz mitem, I ask you that you destroy them with your truth. With your truth? Yeah. Because that is what the Torah says. What does the Torah say about this? Very, very, very powerful pasuk in Sefer Devarim. One of the warnings that Moshe gives the Jewish people, a whole list of arur, 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 arur. Curse be this, curse be that, curse. Wow. They got together to list who is cursed. It's no longer about a warning. It's no longer about it's not right. The following people are arur, and one of them is arur makeh re'eu baseter. Cursed be the one who strikes his friend in private, behind closed doors. It's Lashon Hara. That's exactly Lashon Hara. So, but mitechatz mitem. Destroy them for your truth, for what you said. Otherwise, they'll look at the Torah. This is not coming true. It's not that I want the revenge. It's not for me. It's ba'mitecha. It's for your truth. Bin davar ezvechalach odeshim chal moeki tov. I will sacrifice for you. I will offer thanks to your name. For your name is good. So here, David HaMelech, in ending the chapter, says, I'm not an ungrateful person. I will continuously thank you. I will bring a sacrifice in a dava, not one that I have to, that I'm obligated to bring, one that I voluntarily want to bring. And I will publicize and talk about everything that you've done for me. A whole Sefer of Tehilim is composed in thanks and praise for Hashem. For all the good that you've done to me, and for all the, punishment or revenge that you've exacted on the enemy. For he has saved me from every trouble, and my eye has seen the downfall of my enemy. In other words, I was fortunate to see both. How Hashem saved me, helped me, and I've seen the downfall of the enemy as well. Segula of this perek, to be saved and protected from the enemy, and to see in their downfall. Just want to remind you that David HaMelech is not asking for people to be killed and punished. He's always focusing on protecting himself and protecting the truth of the Torah. And sometimes, in order to accomplish that, people have to see the downfall of the enemy. That's all. It's not that he wishes anyone bad. On the contrary, the rabbis tell us, if you have somebody that's giving you a hard time, instead of asking Hashem, please punish him, get rid of him, ask Hashem, please make him do teshuvah. Right? That's what people should think about. But when we talk about evil people who have no God before them at all, and they're harmful, yes, we need to protect ourselves. So even when we ask to be protected, we're not asking for revenge, we're not asking for others to die. No. The city of Nineveh, non-Jews, Yonah is told, go warn them. These are my creations too. Yeah, but when those people don't have God before them, they don't consider him, they don't believe that they're accountable, they need to be taught a lesson. So when we ask for that lesson to be taught, we're asking for Hashem's name to be sanctified.